Welcome to the Avi Show. I'm Danielle Shepard.
And I'm Amy Suzuki.
A rising issue nowadays is protection of LGBT rights,
as in lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender rights.
Why anyone would claim that is any more unconstitutional to ban gay marriage than to ban interracial marriage, I don't understand. But some of the most recent political actions for equality are taking a turn for the more constitutional.
In response to discrimination against LGBT in the workplace, Obama signed an executive order on July 21st that basically added sexual orientation and sexual identity to the list of things that federal contractors may not discriminate against. This will end the incidence of firing gay workers from Christian organizations that have federal contracts, which include most Christian colleges. It might even mean that Christian colleges will not be allowed to expel LGBT students.
Not surprisingly, some religious organizations and people have protested that this is a violation of their religious freedom, and that there must be a religious exemption. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the First Amendment gives us the freedom to believe whatever religious belief we want, express what we believe, and assemble ourselves.
That's right.
So nowhere in there did it say that it gave anyone the right to discriminate other human beings because of our religious belief. Like, if the principal of a private college just happened to be a KKK member, and he wanted to fire all the black teachers and expel all the black students, the Constitution wouldn't allow that.
No, it would not.
Thank you for clearing that up for me.
Now back to Executive Order 11478 and 11246. In response to the recent amendments, Peter Sprague, Senior Fellow of Policy Studies at the Family Research Council, states that religious organizations will be
unable to operate in accordance with their faith,
and that
the mask is coming off the homosexual movement's agenda. They really do not believe in religious liberty. They want forced affirmation of homosexual and transgender conduct to trump every other consideration in the workplace, including religious liberty.
Isn't that assumptuous? Other Christians hold this view too, including the makers of TrueTolerance.org, who accuse efforts of reducing bullying of LGBT of being a plan to make children gay. For one, equality is a right, not a plan to destroy religion. In fact, there are many Christian homosexuals who would like to take part in Christian organizations and the betterment of the world. And if some evil agenda of demoralization really was such a threat, why don't these agencies and schools just stop working for the federal government?
Because it's a big moneymaker.
So if they are more concerned with making bank off of taxpayers' money than keeping LGBT from infiltrating their organizations, it must not be such a tearing religious burden anyways. Plus, when I went to Sunday school, we learned that we should encourage each other and that no one but God had the right to judge anyone. Christians are told to come together in community and in shared faith. So why would LGBT Christians be left out of that, especially since many Christians claim that all sin is equal in the eyes of God? And according to this belief, homosexuality is just as bad as premarital sex or lying. In most cases, people who do one of those things isn't cast out by the Christian community. Jesus made a point of spending time with sinners. If that is the case, why would it be godly to expel an LGBT believer from a Christian college?
For example, Christian Minard was recently expelled from Southwestern Christian University in Oklahoma for breaking her lifestyle covenant by marrying her girlfriend. We video interviewed her this morning and decided to show it to our viewers.
Hey guys, it's Christian Minard here.
Hey Christian, so did you really get expelled from your school because you married your girlfriend?
Yeah, I did get kicked out of school for being in a same-sex relationship, and that went against a lifestyle covenant that was upheld by my university.
Do you consider your expulsion to be a response to your breaking the lifestyle covenant or an act of prejudice against homosexuals?
I was discriminated. There are so many kids in that university that are also breaking this lifestyle covenant, and they're being allowed to, or they're turning their heads towards this. And I feel that I was called out and discriminated because of the code that I broke. I mean, there are people breaking the drinking policy, and they're getting slapped on the hand and allowed to stay in this university.
So other students are just called in, given a little talk, and allowed to go on with life as usual. That seems about fair. Oh, and she wasn't a student that had a record of being troublesome either. Actually, she was an honor roll student who was even on academic and athletic scholarship. At the time of her expulsion, she was one semester away from completing her 4-year sports management degree. So they must have really wanted her out to not even let her finish the semester. By the way, her major or similar program is not available at any other local universities, so she must either move away or lose all her credit.
How were you informed of your expulsion?
I only received a letter that I took offense to, and several others that have read this letter have also taken offense to.
And what exactly was in that letter?
I wasn't informed about why I was being expelled in a proper manner. I was just told, hey, you're expelled through this letter. I mean, I wasn't given a phone call. I wasn't given the respect of getting to come in and having somebody explain to me why I was being expelled.
Now, here's the letter that she received. Sorry if you can't read it, but it starts off by saying how people are blessed with rights, but with those rights, they infringe on others' rights, comparing gay marriage to smoking in a restaurant. It says her rights are respected, and then basically explains that what she was done was against the covenant and that she's not allowed to attend the school anymore.
I feel to anybody that's disrespectful. You don't just kick somebody out and not give them any sort of chance or opportunity or anything. I wasn't allowed to voice my opinion. I wasn't allowed to receive an explanation like many others that if they have been expelled from this university, they've been called into these offices and talked with and allowed to appeal their case. And the only time I was offered an appeal is whenever I contacted the university.
Yeah, he obviously respects her rights because he definitely treated her like any other student. Also, I'd like to point out that the International Pentecostal Holiness Church, which the college is affiliated with, states in its covenant, "We will watch over one another with brotherly love and kindness, not that we may have whereof to accuse our brother, but that we may with meekness correct each other's faults. We will abstain from frivolous conversations, such as taking up a reproach against anyone, especially our brother." Christians should be treated this way.
Do you personally feel that what you did is just as bad as the other violations of the lifestyle covenant?
There are several things in this code of conduct, such as drinking and smoking and tobacco use and all of this stuff, that they compare that to homosexuality. I feel that those are choices. Being gay is not a choice. I'm choosing to love somebody and spend the rest of my life with someone, and I'm being punished for that. And I do not feel that that's fair, and I do not feel that they should be even close to being in the same category.
Since she mentioned in the interview that she had no choice, I should address the opposing belief that being gay is a choice with this lovely cartoon. Not to mention, I think this would really cheer Christian up. I mean, look at how down she is about this. Cartoons make everything better, even if her life has just been ruined.
When people talk about homosexuality, they often ask, is it a choice?
I heard it is.
Hello, what's your name?
Christian.
Well, Christian, let's see what the latest science has to say.
Oh, that.
To help us, here are two gay people, George and Martha. Before we can answer, is it a choice, we must first determine what it means to be gay. How do you know you're a homosexual?
The same way you know that you're straight.
Since the 19th century, many theories about homosexuality have been offered that are untestable and contradictory.
Male homosexuality is the result of an absent father and an overbearing mother. See ya.
Stand up straight, dear.
And the female homosexual has never recovered from her anger over not having the penis. She wishes to avenge her perceived castration by taking another female as her sexual object.
You're kidding me, right?
Well, I've always been told that homosexuality is unnatural.
Is it? In fact, homosexual relations are common in nature, including zebras, baboons, dolphins, sheep, buffalo, ducks, foxes, elephants, horses, gorillas, moose, house cats, pigs, mice, rabbits, swans, and lions, to name a few.
Well, okay, but we're not animals. Human beings have free will.
You don't just decide who to love.
Settle down there, Martha. Christian does have a point, but let's take a look at the most recent scientific evidence. As they study sexual orientation, scientists are currently looking at three main areas: genes, hormones, and birth order. Of course, most of these studies focus only on male sexuality. Sorry, Martha.
What a shock.
Let's first look at studies of identical twins.
Hi.
When one identical twin is a gay man, the other twin is gay up to 70% of the time, far higher than would occur if genes played no role. In fact, these studies show that genes play a greater role in determining sexual orientation than they do in whether or not you're right or left-handed. And we don't punish the left-handed. Well, not anymore.
Let's get it!
Scientists have recently noticed a striking statistical phenomenon. Studies show that having older brothers increases the odds of a boy being homosexual.
Moms always baby the youngest, making them gay.
No, that's not it. When a woman is pregnant with a boy, scientists are realizing that her female body often sees the male fetus as a foreign object and begins to produce antibodies against it. The more boys a woman has, the more adept her body becomes at feminizing the fetus, which may explain why with every successive boy, the odds that he will be gay go up significantly.
All right, maybe you all accept it, but what about those people who started out gay and say they became straight by discovering God? What about ex-gay ministries?
Even so-called ex-gay ministries don't claim to change a person's inner sexual desires, just his or her sexual conduct.
We're still gay.
If these places really work, why don't they all use the same technique? Why does each ministry experiment its own way?
Well,
And why have so many members and leaders recanted earlier claims that they were changed?
maybe these programs don't work for everyone, but what's the harm?
How about the feelings of shame and guilt they instill and reinforce in their victims? Or the money, energy, and time they sap from people who have nothing wrong with them?
Says you.
Well, in point of fact, not just George says that, Christian. The American Medical Association, the American Psychiatric Association, the American Psychological Association, the American Psychoanalytic Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and the National Association of Social Workers have all stated that homosexuality should not be treated as a mental disorder, and that they oppose attempts at reparative or conversion therapy, and that sexual orientation is not a choice and cannot be changed.
So that's it. I'm supposed to believe that it's not a choice just because all those doctors and scientists say so?
Or you could just ask us.
I do know this one girl named Heather who goes back and forth, but she's
Shut up.
More educational than Schoolhouse Rock.
If the mere fact of being gay is not a conscious choice, it should not be punished as an offensive and perverted disobedience. Christians should have been allowed to continue their studies at Southwestern Christian University in the comfort of being among other Christians who love God as much as she does. She is so devoted to Christianity that she actually changed her name from her original name Bethany to her current name Christian. Hopefully by now, anyone will agree that here in the U.S., people like Christian Minard should not be discriminated and put into situations like this, or at least that if it is allowed to happen, it should not be funded by taxpayers' money.
I know I don't want my money used to discriminate anyone.
So, Christian, why did you decide that you wanted this interview aired on your show?
To make people aware that discrimination is still very much alive, and to make people aware that discriminating does affect others. It affects them in ways that you may not even see. It completely ruins people's lives, and discriminating against these individuals for who they choose to love is not right. There are many people just like me out there that believe in God and have a deep relationship with God and wish to participate in these religious universities or these religious institutions, and they're being punished because of who they love. They're not being allowed to love God and praise God and be a part of what all these others are allowed to be a part of just because of who they choose to love. And that's why I chose to speak out, is because I feel that even if you are homosexual, that you should still be allowed to believe in God and worship God just the same as these other individuals. I appreciate you guys for taking your time to watch this, and I mean, if you can, just share this and help me out. Be the change for equality. We have so much more to accomplish and so much more ground to cover that whatever help that anyone can get is more than appreciated, and I just want to make steps forward and help this discrimination end. So help me out, guys, and I appreciate everything. Thank you.
Thanks for letting me interview you, Christian.
This is the Obvious Show.
Thanks for watching.
Have a good night.